Finally, the patch notes for Path of Exile 3.23 Affliction are out and League starters are coming in hot. I pray to Zeus Almighty, don't let Righteous Fire Inquisitor be king once more.
Peasant, I hear your prayer.
Wait, what?
I said your prayer is answered. You shall not League start Righteous Fire in any form. Instead, you shall spread 5 other god-tier Affliction starters to the rest of the plebeians of POE.
Zeus, I will bestow them upon me and I shall share your holy word.
It shall be done. The 5 POE...
Wait, Zeus, why do you have a bad Cockney accent? I thought your voice would sound more like the booming of thunder or the striking of lightning.
It's the best I could do. Now, silence POE pleb. My 5 god-tier League starters for Affliction League are Lightning Arrow Deadeye, Boneshatter Juggernaut, Rage Vortex Berserker, Frostblades Trickster, and Ice Spear Freezing Pulse Totem Hierophant.
Zeus, most handsome of gods, this is an excellent list.
Of course it is, lowly Exile. Now, get to it.
My fellow exiles, welcome and well met. I'm Talkative Try, and we talk Path of Exile, its development, and its competitors on this channel. If you enjoy this content, please make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. More on how you can support at the end. Some of you might know that this is take 2 for this video. I've learned my lesson. Now, let's get to it. To streamline the pipeline of juicy god knowledge straight into your brain, each League starter recommendation is split into 3 parts. It's lightning bolts or lightning bolt, what you need to shoot for during League start to blast through the axe and the atlas. It's godliness, what it plays like, how it feels, and how quickly you'll truly become a god walking amongst mere exiles. And finally, it's recommended creator, what build maker I'd recommend you follow, whether they make builds here on YouTube, on the POE official forums, or the dark underworld of Reddit.
The Path of Exile build subreddit is pretty good though, silly Exile. Now, let's hit the first build. I'm a huge fan of it.
Lightning Arrow Deadeye is a famously safe, powerful League starter capable of zooming through the axe, into maps, and downing pinnacle bosses in mere hours. Of course, it shines in the zoom aspect, allowing exiles to blast packs from afar and move incredibly quickly from one area to the next. This build's lightning bolts are peppered between its weapon and its ascendancy. Search for a bow with high tri-elemental damage affixes and attempt to get more elemental damage wherever you can on your gear. This is where most of your damage comes in. Always immediately ascend when you can and make sure your accuracy is capped. This is a hit-based build and constantly missing destroys its entire feel. This build's godliness seriously starts once you hit maps. If you'd like to farm maps instead of farming bosses or harder content like Sanctum, you're going to love the speed, feel, and upgrade path of LA Deadeye. While it is fast, it is definitely squishy, and if you're not great at boss mechanics, expect to spend a few portals as you progress your atlas. In maps though, another strength is its extreme range. You usually kill enemies before they reach you or before you even see them on your screen. This build's recommended content creator is Crouching Tuna. He has a 3.22 build guide that was mostly unaffected by 3.23's patch notes, but is also working on an updated version for Affliction. It's possible Lightning Arrow could have a wicked transfigured gem too.
Enough about Lightning Arrow. Let's talk some serious meat.
Boneshatter Juggernaut, at this point, is a staple of PoE's metagame. Ever since the skill's introduction back in PoE 3.15 Expedition, melee has never been the same. Boneshatter combines the ability to play melee, clear massive packs with 1 or 3 clicks, beat down powerful bosses, and survive almost everything thanks to the Juggernaut Ascendancy. If you want to bonk and bonk safely, this is the starter for you. Its lightning bolts can seriously be whittled down to a single item, a big-ass physical damage two-handed mace or axe. Once you obtain a decently rolled axe or mace, armed with its increased physical damage and added physical damage to attacks, you simply roll through any enemy in the game, whether it's an abyss crack with dozens of rares, the Eater of Worlds themselves, or a triple ghosted 8 modifier 100% delirious Baron the Crusader. Okay, that last one might be a bit of an exaggeration, but with a huge axe and Boneshatter, that's exactly how you'll feel. This build's godliness begins right as you pick up the Boneshatter gem in Act 3. After that, you bonk your way all the way to Kitava and into maps. Some of the top players in all of PoE say this is the smoothest league start experience you can have. You're tanky, which means you rarely die and level quickly. You deal tons of area damage so you can whack through packs swiftly. Your damage ramps as long as you can eat boss attacks, so your single target is decent as well. Altogether, this brings you to your 4 Void Stones and ensures a great all-around league start. This build's recommended creator is Zizarin. He put out a fantastic starter guide in 3.22 and it remains applicable in 3.23. Boneshatter as a core gem received a few buffs and none of its associated items were really nerfed. The upgrade path remains the same. It should only be stronger with a new layer of ascendancies and a possible beefy transfigured gem. RIP to the alternate qualities.
Alright, we need to stay with the meat. Onward to the next godly starter.
Rage Vortex Berserker is my favorite build on Zeus's list due to its incredible power, simple build-up, rarity among other players, and its unique playstyle. If you've never slayed Ubers before and would like to this league, or you'd like to wield a titanic two-handed sword in PoE, this is probably the only starter wherein that's feasible. This build's lightning bolts vary greatly depending on how exactly you'd like to build, on up, kinda. Of course, everything revolves around its ascendancy. You cannot even really use Rage Vortex until you are a Berserker and generating a hearty amount of rage. Next, you want to aim for either a Red Blade banner and big damage one-handed weapon for rage generation, or just save all your funds or farm to your heart's content for a Void Forge. Red Blade banner remains the early option for this build, but once you hit Void Forge, everything changes and the build just snaps together. This build's godliness arrives later than every other build on this list, but once you become a god, you can take on all content in the game with reasonable game knowledge. I'd argue you 100% need a Void Forge. It's the only piece of gear you need to go from a little exile slaying Kitava to an unstoppable force of nature downing uber bosses and zipping through the Forbidden Sanctum. Before then, it is a decent chunk slower than everything else on this list. Rage Vortex is also an acquired taste. It seems like the playstyle of Totems, but not. You have to control where your blade goes, know when to use your Warcry, understand how your rage is generating. It might sound jank, but when you learn how to wield this big old blade, it's quite satisfying. Finally, I would recommend MB Extreme's build guide from Crucible League. Everything still functions the same, and he does a great job of laying everything out. I'm super hyped to see if Rage Vortex has a rad transfigured gem. They could do something amazing here. I can feel it.
The lovely Hades told me this next starter would be controversial due to some changes, but I believe it's godly anyway. Let's do it.
Zeus, are you sure?
Silence! Move on and spread my word.
Okay. Frostblade's Trickster remains a suitable starter build despite a drastic nerf to its former lightning bolt, the Heat Shiver unique helmet. Mixed with extremely high offensive capabilities using Frostblades, Shatters, and Claws, are rapid movement and the ability to mitigate a huge amount of incoming damage with a giant amount of recovery from the Trickster Ascendancy. Even though Frostblades is a melee skill, this is definitely a pseudo-ranged build, which is powerful in PoE. This build's Lightning Bolt is simple, though it used to be Heat Shiver. Now, it is a powerful physical damage claw whose damage will be converted to elemental. Alongside a good claw, you'll want to ensure your link setup is proper. Support gems like Pierce are absolutely vital to buffing this build's clear speed. This build's godliness does not begin until midway through the campaign once you grab a few links to attach to Frostblades. Then, in maps, it picks up drastically with Ascendancy, Tree, and a great claw upgrade. From early endgame and into breaking through the pinnacles and even Ubers, it's quite scalable, though it'll be a bit tougher without Heat Shiver's immense power and easy ways to perfect Trinity support. You can go all the way from 0 to 100 in levels and 0 to 40 in challenges in a league with it, with tons of scalability. As long as you stick to mapping and don't try to tackle uber bosses before getting absolutely metric tons of damage, you won't die, and you'll keep on zooming from upgrade to upgrade. This build plays like a traditional melee build, but is realistically played at a moderate range, which is viable in Path of Exile. However, it is an active build. You need to focus on where you're attacking, when you're dodging, and definitely where you're standing. It's not a spell, totem, or walking simulator playstyle. It's for exiles who want to be a bit more active in their approach to PoE. Finally, I would recommend following Zish's League Starter build and or passive tree. I followed it loosely in 3.21 Crucible and had a wonderful time. He lays out absolutely everything you need to crush the axe, maps, and endgame bosses quite clearly and has plenty of follow-up videos on this awesome build. He is also planning on an update for 3.23. He didn't seem too worried about the Heat Shiver and Trinity support changes. I trust his judgment.
Let's end with some magic in the mix. Also, some sweet, sweet ice.
Ice Spear Freezing Pulse Totem Hierophant is an incredibly safe League starter with a clear upgrade path. For those who enjoy playing an old man who uses icy totems to annihilate any enemy in their path, this is 100% the build for you, especially if you like slamming the Forbidden Sanctum and Uber bosses by the end of week 1 and earning sweet divines for carrying other people. This build's lightning bolts are absolutely vital to its rapid scaling. First up are the gems. This is a spell-based build, the only on this list, which means you need to ensure you're doing all you can to level your gems as you move through the campaign. Tons of damage initially comes from them. Second, we have the Annihilating Light. This triples our damage at the cost of weaker resistances, which we can easily pursue, especially if we're okay with dying a few times in maps as we cap them out. Get this and you'll be popping everything on the screen instantly. This build's damage is insane with this upgrade. This build's godliness is gradual, more so than any other build on this list. Given its high damage, decent survivability, and relaxed playstyle, no matter how you choose to League start, you'll be having a good and chill time. Be prepared though, you won't be dealing damage directly. It'll be your totems, and they'll be clogging up the screen with lots of ice. Truly, this build feels stress-free, allowing you to sit back and do whatever the hell you want while your totems destroy any enemy in your way. Uber bosses, dead. Sanctum rooms, annihilated. Invitations, super easy. Even mapping, a bit slower than something like Frostblades, but still solid. Finally, I recommend following Von Victon's build guide on YouTube. It's in-depth and up-to-date as of POE 3.22, and he does an excellent job laying out the links needed, items you want, and how exactly you should stand around while your totems destroy everything. Again, this was untouched by 3.23 and might even receive some new options with as of yet unannounced transfigured gems.
What an ending, what a list, I'm proud of myself.
I am too, Zeus. It was a great second try. Although next time, I think I'm going to give your brother a chance instead.
Wait, what?
Oh, I do declare, I have myself some delectable starters for 3.24 already cooking.
Alrighty, what did you think, Exiles of YouTube? Were some, all, or none of these absolutely god-tier League starters given to us by the almighty Zeus himself, the ruler of Olympus? I will probably be starting with something a little spicier than any of these builds, given the new melee transfigured gems, but these assuredly will do well. How about you? Are you gonna go for a spicy League start or something safe? Let me and everyone else know in the comments below. A massive thanks to each and every one of you who watched this whole video. I deeply appreciate it, and so does Zeus. And here's an even larger shout out to all those who support me on Patreon and through YouTube. You can find links to support the channel in the description. Now, please check out these other videos on screen and share this video with your favorite Exile. I bet you'll both enjoy them. Anyways, that's all for this video. Hala Moana, Exile.